Imagine a moment that with every breath you take, you could wash away all the stress and tension of your day. So today we are going to do just that because I am going to welcome you to a journey of relaxation and inner peace where each breath that you take will bring you closer to being into a serene state of mind. Yes, we are talking about mindfulness and a meditation today. And we're going to talk specifically about what mindfulness and meditation is or are, and their health benefits, and also how you can easily incorporate them into your daily life. All right, so let's get going. Hey, we are talking about mindfulness, which is the practice of actually being fully present and engaged in the moment, being aware of what your thoughts are and your feelings without distraction or judgment. And that's hard, right? Because we are always judging. That's just part of the human condition is we are biologically uh, programmed and wired to judge because that's how one of the ways that we can kind of figure out if something is going to be harmful or not to us. So judging is a big thing. But it's about also observing without criticism and accepting our thoughts and feelings without being emotionally tied to them or an emotional response. So that's not always easy. But here's one of the things for me that when you think about mindfulness, one of the ways that I try to be mindful is watching my language. What language am I using? And so there's certain words or certain kind of ways that I'm maybe might phrase something that I am now mindful when I say it, and I try to rephrase it and practice having better ways. So when I put something in the negative, I will try and be mindful and catch myself and then try and change it to the positive. So one of the things that Kathy, you will appreciate this, that I would do is I would say something like, I have to make dinner. Well, instead of saying I have to, which sounds like a chore and something hard to do, I try and turn it around and say I get to make dinner, like it's something that is a privilege to do. And so I do it, and I'll say, oh, I have to, oh, I get to do something. You might even hear me do it in the when I'm talking because it's something that I'm now mindful of and try to change when I do it because I don't want to, it's a practice and I correct myself as soon as I catch it. So if you catch me saying I have to do something, let me know because I should be saying I get to, not I have to. And there's other different, like I could say, oh, I'm not very blah, blah, blah. Oh, I know another one that I've been doing lately is I'll say, oh, it looks like a crappy day outside. No, it's a beautiful day, just that there's clouds in the way, but it's still beautiful. And try and reframe things to be on the positive side. Another one that I find is being mindful of your emotions. Especially your negative ones. And so I am trying, and this is where you can master your emotions as well and master your thoughts is by really being mindful. So, one of the things that I have been working on is I have my beautiful cat, Benji, who loves to come and jump up when I'm working and I'm like in thought and I'm in a hurry. And he loves to come up and jump up on my computer because he wants some love. And sometimes I can get upset at that. Well, I'm very mindful of that because I know it's not fair to Benji to be mad at him because he just wants love, and I don't blame him. So I try to reframe it, and I've come up with some strategies to nip it in the bud when I start feeling that anger or that frustration come over me when he's coming for love and it's not the right time. So I have some strategies. Some work, some don't. I tried putting a heating pad beside my computer so he could lie on that. Did not like that at all. But sometimes he just needs a little scratch under the chin or behind his ears, and then he's happy, or a little bit of food. All that stuff will help it go away. All right. And so then there's meditation. So meditation is really a practice, and you see, it's a practice um, that will help you maybe to be mindful, maybe to focus on something particular that you want to. And it's about training your attention and awareness. Sometimes it's achieving mental clarity and emotional calmness and a stable state. And so when I think of meditation, there's, we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can meditate. But for me, I got to say, I resisted meditation for a long time. I could think, "Oh, yeah, I've gotta meditate," but I never found time for it. It was always something that was, "Oh, I'll do it I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow." And I finally I would say about 6 months ago, I finally decided that I was going to really attack this and do it. And so I have been doing a meditation practice for about the last 6 months. Now, do I do it every day? No, there's days when I'm busy, but I do know if I don't do it in the morning before I start my day, never gets there. It never gets done. I think yesterday was the first time ever that I did my meditation in the afternoon. And I just really felt like I needed some time out. And so I did my meditation, but I say that's probably the first and only time I've ever done it. So if I say, "Oh, I'll do it after I do da 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 da," it never gets done. So I know I need to do it as part of my morning practice, or else it's not happening. And it doesn't happen every day. So the other thing that I felt like when I started it, I started with guided meditation, which we're going to talk a bit about what that is. But I also like realize it's something that's very personal, and it does take practice. It is a practice. So don't feel that you have to be like a guru at meditation when you first start. And maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe it feels weird to you, but just keep going because you will eventually get to a point where you find your groove and what works for you because everybody's experience is different. And I know some people will say they feel light. What I've noticed, and this is just something that I'm kind of recently tuning into, is I kind of feel not like I'm on pins and needles, but I kind of feel the vibration from the energy around me. And it's kind of cool. It can be misinterpreted, but it's definitely something that I can feel. And even right now, I can feel energy in my fingertips, which is kind of cool. But I know some of my friends, when they started meditation, really got down on themselves because they weren't having these aha moments and all this spiritual stuff going on. Don't worry about that. Everybody's experience is different. But I do urge you that this is a really good tool for your day. All right. So we're going to talk about a little bit about meditation and what kinds of meditation there are. And I haven't tried them all, but I have tried a number of them, which is kind of cool. I didn't even realize I had done all of these different things. But I went to a yoga retreat a couple of times, and the leader of the yoga retreat, her husband is a master in meditation. And so he did a number of meditation practices with us. They were really cool. So the first kind of meditation is mindful meditation, mindfulness meditation. So this meditation is rooted in Buddhist teachings and probably is the most popular in our Western world. What it does is it involves paying attention to your thoughts as they're passing through your mind without judgment. And like if you have a thought, so when you're trying to be still and have no, like, keep your mind still, that's probably one of the hardest things to do, because our mind, shutting our mind off is really hard. So in a mindfulness meditation, you're allowing the thoughts to come, but when they come, you just kind of push them off to the side and let them pass without judgment. And so this practice is about observing our present sensation, our thoughts, and our emotions. And so when you're doing it, you would sit in a quiet place and focus on your breath, and then take note when your mind wanders and gently bring it back to your breath. And so I did learn this, that one of the ways that we can uh, get back to our meditation, or get focused and kind of get rid of that chatter in our mind a little bit, is to actually focus on our breath, or your heartbeat is the other one. So you can continue on your breathing and focus on that, or you can focus on your heartbeat. And if you're counting your heartbeats or trying to feel your heartbeat, your mind will still for you so that you can do that. So that's another one, is watch your heartbeat as well. Then there is transcendental meditation, which is just a natural practice of about 20 minutes twice a day, sitting comfortably with your eyes closed. And it's basically about reducing your stress. So usually you will have a mantra, which would be either a specific sound, word, or phrase. And then you will repeat that silently throughout your practice. And so that helps you to quiet your mind as well. So that's another way you can quiet your mind. Then there's the guided meditation. And it also could be known as a guided visualization. And it really involves forming mental images. So it may be that they will say, there's a light, or you're in a stadium and you're lifted up high above the earth, and really forming mental images in your mind. I know I've been involved in some where they're looking to bring out your inner child, and you're visualizing things that are going on around, maybe when you were a kid, and remembering things. So that's another one, like to bring you on a journey, or maybe as part of a relaxing scene. And that's usually done by a teacher, or it could be I guess there's lots of guided meditations on YouTube and stuff. So you can get all them on online, a lot of guided meditations. Then there's a focused meditation, which is basically involves concentrating on any of your five senses. So touch, hearing, taste. And this is actually also another one where you can focus on your breath. And this helps to focus your mind. You could count beads, or you could listen for a gong, or staring at a flame, or something like that. And I guess I would put, there is the sound bath meditation. I think that might come under this one as well, because it's all about the sound. And if you've ever had the privilege or opportunity to be in a sound bath meditation, it is pretty unreal. Really a great experience, right? Yeah. 'cause Kathy and I were in the same sound bath meditation. It was really cool. And then there is a movement meditation. So for this one, we think of yoga when we think of movement meditation, maybe. But there's just, it could be as simple as walking through the woods in a garden, doing some qigong or other forms of gentle movement. And It's really about finding a deeper connection with yourself. I did it. We actually just basically walked and looked at the ground as we were walking. And there was a whole bunch of us walking in a room and just kind of observing when you went by people, the feeling that you got, the energy that you received from them, and really it was just walking. And it's amazing when you're just concentrating on that ground, how you lose your mind. You don't, you kind of get out of your mind and start getting into your thoughts a little differently. I used to swim, and that was another way, because when I was swimming, I was focused on the rhythm of the my arms. I was doing front crawl, so I would be focused on the rhythm that had going on, and I would just really lose myself in that. So that's another way that you can kind of get in. It's really deepening your connection with yourself. Another one is loving kindness meditation, which is also called metta meditation. And that one is interesting. It's all about cultivating love and kindness towards everything, even your enemies and sources of stress. What you're doing is opening your mind to receiving love and kindness, and sending messages of love and kindness to the world. It could be to specific people, or to your loved ones, or to yourself. It could be to yourself. And we did this at the yoga retreat that I was on. And I have to say, when I did this, it was the first time that I really felt my heart opening up, and it was almost like my heart was out of my body. And what we did is we visualized a person, and we said nice things, and we just kind of showered them with love in our head. And it was um, very transformative. And if you can do that for the people that you hold as your enemies, then that's going to take you away from harboring all those resentments or whatever issues you have with those people. So that actually really can be a powerful meditation. There's a body scan or progressive relaxation, where you basically scan areas of your body to notice any tension that you might have. And you usually will start with one part of the body and work your way down. I've done this, and we actually had in one of the meditations I do now, we start with the head and work our way down. But we also imagine there's a lavender energy that's going through us. So it's not just about working our way down, there's also a scent involved, or imagining a scent. And so when I started doing this one, I started actually putting a lavender extract on my wrists and on my pillow, because I would do it laying down so that I could really get into the moment and
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it feels really nice. And then the last one is visualization, where you basically, it's similar to a guided meditation, but you're doing it on your own. You're not you're not being guided by a teacher. And it's really about maybe it's visualizing a goal, or getting a feeling of joy around something that you want to happen. And we have a workshop that's called Create a Life You Love. And so once you create the life you love, or that vision of it, if you can meditate on it and have joy, and how happy that makes you feel, that's actually sending a lot of good vibes to you and the universe and everything, for getting those things to happen. So, and then of course, there's combining all these things, because I've done guided meditations that are using movement or mindfulness as part of the meditation. So they don't all happen very uniquely. You can combine things into one and actually practice more things than just one. And again, I just want to also reiterate that this is a personal experience for you. Try different ones, try different meditations online, whatever you want. And we'll talk a bit more about this. But find something that works for you. And remember, it is really a very personal experience, your meditation. And there's nobody else is going to feel what you feel necessarily. And so that's good. So why do we meditate, right? Why would we do this meditation and mindfulness? Because they really go together. You can do them separately. So we'll look at some of the benefits of meditation. And so these are actually very well documented benefits for meditation and mindfulness. Number one is reduces stress. So basically you are lowering levels of cortisol and your stress hormones by doing meditation, and your practice, the doing a regular meditation or mindfulness practice is really training your body to be calm and handle stress more efficiently. When you're talking about mindfulness, you're really reducing stress by encouraging non-reactive monitoring on your experiences. So, like I said, sometimes mindfulness to me is catching myself and being mindful that I'm not getting upset in a certain situation, or when I do get upset, it's recognizing it and releasing it right away instead of carrying it and letting it actually get to me. And then at some point, it turns into like a powder keg of dynamite. And then that's all bets are off at that point. So the idea is to be mindful and catch yourself in those moments before you get all worked up, if you can. And again, this is practice, practice, practice. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight. And we have to remember we're all human. So these things, these things happen. Yeah. So do I get upset? Yeah, I still get upset. But I have ways to deal with it now. I've got tools that I'm using to deal with it so it doesn't turn into ruining my whole day. Maybe it ruins 1 minute. And when you get upset, you basically, there's a chemical reaction going on in your body. And so the chemicals that are released when you get upset, when you're looking at cortisol and all that stuff, they will take 60 to 90 seconds to run through your body. And if you can actually wash it away and remove the stress, and then you get to a point of joy. But if you keep on thinking about that whatever is making you upset or angry or whatever your emotion, it's going to keep going, and you're just basically going to release more and more of the chemicals. And at some point, at some point you lose yourself. That's all I can say. But if you can catch yourself and return to a feeling good and remove those negative emotions, you'll actually, once those chemicals run their course over the 60 to 90 seconds, you will be in a place of joy. So that's stress. It can help you to improve your concentration and your attention. So for meditation, you can do focus meditation, which will enhance your endurance of your attention span and the strength of your attention span. And it allows you to concentrate for longer periods, especially if you're trying to quiet your mind and concentrate on something else. And when it comes to mindfulness, when you focus your attention by training your mind to focus on the present moment, that will help you to increase your concentration and also uh, help you to avoid distractions more efficiently as well. Because that's the other thing that comes up is distractions that we have. It enhances our emotional well-being by improving our self-image and having a positive outlook on life. When you do a loving kindness meditation, for example, you are promoting compassion and beautiful thoughts towards either one yourself and others. And then it can also help you if you have depression issues or anxiety. Um, it can help to decrease the feelings that you have and maybe give you some more a greater emotional resilience. And when it comes to mindfulness, um, so the mindfulness actually increases our activity in our prefrontal cortex, which is the brain area that is associated with our positive emotion. This is where we think. It's, we spend 95% of ourself in our subconscious, but our prefrontal cortex is where we are very conscious. And so that will lead to enhanced mood and emotional stability. And so practicing mindfulness can help us to disengage from things that are emotionally upsetting. And just like I said, when you're mindful, you can actually uh, do something about it rather than just letting those patterns run themselves. And it also, mindfulness and meditation will help us with our sleep patterns. So we can improve the quality of our sleep with meditation because it's a way of relaxation to quiet the mind and to release physical tension. And so it can help us to both fall asleep and stay asleep. And especially if you are suffering from insomnia or some other sleep disorders. I think, you can also calm your body before sleep with mindfulness. And then it takes less time to fall asleep and it will increase the quality of your sleep. And so some of the things that are, I guess, recommended for before you go to bed is to do some gratitude so that it gives you a positive end to your day. Because if you can't find 10 things you're grateful for the day that you've just had, and it just might be you're grateful that it's the end of the day and you get to go to sleep. And you made it grateful that you made it through the day. Who knows? I mean, if you had a bad day. So if you could just find 10 little things to be grateful for and think of it in a positive light, that will give your better dreams and it will set yourself up for feeling better in the morning when you wake. So you're really setting yourself up to be positive on that note. And I think, when you talk about mindfulness and sleep, they always would say to count sheep, you know, to get your mind off of whatever is rattling around in your head and think about just counting, right? So the fact that you're taking your mind off of whatever else is going on and just focusing on something, that's another tip. Believe it or not, it can help. Mindfulness and meditation can actually help reduce our blood pressure and regulate our blood pressure because relaxation and de-stressing. So it's good for our blood pressure and it can help decrease pain. So it can help to, I guess, alter the perception of pain in the brain. So if you are dealing with chronic pain, you can use it to as a supplement to your care by your physician, or maybe physical therapy or something, by kind of turning down the volume on the pain signals. So that's another way. So that would be either through meditation or for mindfulness, and to actually, for mindfulness, really trying to detach from the pain if you can. It helps also, can help with fighting addictions. So if you can maybe have the mental discipline to you can develop that through your meditation to help you break dependencies that you might have. Maybe it can help you with your self-control. So this is something that you would mindfully want to be mindful of. And really, when you have these triggers, actually, it's about understanding why you're triggered, or you want whatever that substance is, or that impulse to whatever that addiction is. So you become mindful, and then help redirect it some other way. It's similar to the emotions and the anger, right? Where you can, if you're mindful of the emotions, if you're mindful of your addiction. So for me, I'm mindful of wanting potato chips that I shouldn't eat. I can kind of help to control that. And it's funny because our mind and our body get used to certain patterns as well. So it's about breaking those patterns. And one that I had, that I only admitted recently, was when I used to travel, I would stay away from potato chips because they are no good for me. They're no good for anybody, but I would they don't fill me up. They're just there, and I could eat one, and if I eat one, I'm going to eat the whole bag. And I used to, when I would travel, that's when I would have, that was kind of my habit, was to have potato chips when I would travel. And so when I was home, I was fine. But as soon as I got on the road, my mind went to, I got to get those potato chips. And so part of mindfulness is recognizing that and finding a way to cope with that and break that cycle. So I'm happy to say I did eventually do it, but it
Yay!
was a struggle. So one of the ways is to never go on the road, but that didn't work. I enjoyed my road trips. It was finding a way to just no potato chips when you're going out. So you can use it, whatever your addiction is. You can help, that can help you as well. And then there's self-awareness. It can enhance your self-awareness. So some forms of meditation can help you develop a stronger sense and understanding of yourself. And so, this is where you can reflect on what you are, when you're feeling some way, or you're mindful to what's going on. It allows you to reflect on it. And I would really encourage also journaling and writing it down when you have these things come up. And journaling is something that I resisted. Maybe I thought it wasn't about my journaling, but I recently started journaling, and I do it in the morning. And what I do is I reflect on the past day. And I don't just say, oh, I had this great day and blah, 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 blah. There's certain questions or certain things I ask myself. So one of them is, did I get angry during the day? And so if I did, I got angry at my cat, but it was only for a minute. And then I was able to control myself. So I'll journal about that. The other one is, if there's certain, so I have different kind of questions or things that I look for, and how did I do yesterday on that? And I will journal on those. And that's really helped me to put a new perspective on journaling. because just writing down, all my thoughts and stuff never happened. And that wasn't me, but actually focusing on certain aspects of my day helped me to actually be able to journal. And I've been surprised at how much I've written down that I never thought I would by really focusing questions. And so the last one that you can do is you can increase your kindness. So meta for sure, meta or loving kindness meditation will definitely help you to have more compassion for yourself and for others. But you can also do that with other kinds of meditation and having the gratitude. But also, you really want to focus on the positivity. And so when you are doing that, then you're going to have less anxiety, less conflict, and it can help with anger management as well. And, um, when it comes to mindfulness, this is another one that you can actually, if you can be mindful of when you are not being kind, and then look at increasing your empathy to other people and understanding others. So I do this because my typical example is when somebody cuts me off in traffic, or at Costco, somebody's trying to butt into the line and stuff like that. Because that happens, I'll catch myself getting upset. And so what I do now is, it doesn't always come out very easily, but I try to send that person love, just and be kind to them, even though they're doing something that isn't within the kind of social confines of what we like to see. But the other thing is that I don't know if they're in a hurry because of whatever reason. They could just be that they're a jerk and that's it, but it doesn't have to ruin your day or anything. So I try and I don't know what's going on in their head or in their life. And so I try and send kindness to them. Even if it's hard, I say, okay, Deb, stop now, send some love to them. And sometimes, it's a struggle to do that, but I think as the more I practice it, the more it will come out. All right. So that is a whole bunch of stuff. Wow. And I never even finished talking about mindfulness and meditation. So we've only got through two things. I definitely want to talk about how to put it into your life and actually how to practice it yourself, not just about what the benefits are. So we have to do this again tomorrow and continue on with mindfulness and meditation, because right now we've talked about what they are and what the benefits are, but we have to put it into practice. So be back tomorrow so we can put this into practice. Oh, before we go, I guess I got to ask if you guys had any questions. My bad. OJ, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question, and my question is, what kind of meditation do you do when you're sad? Let's assume maybe you lost someone. What kind of meditation do you do to calm you down and, so you don't cry a lot and stuff? What kind of meditation do you do?
Yeah, so you're talking about grief.
Yes.
And yeah, grief is an interesting one because when you talk about grief, I mean that is pretty I think there's a lot of emotion. And I think it's not always bad to cry. And, it's good to run through the different stages of grief. I'm definitely not an expert on grief. But I mean, you could try, I guess I would try something around the meta. Really, what I would do is more like a gratitude practice, and taught to really bring yourself to why you're grateful for that person and all the things that you had while they were still in on this earth. And also remember that, they're probably called to another duty or another project that they are to work on. They're called to something else, um, for themselves. So there's things that you can do, for sure. And I would focus on the, what you had with them, and why, what the good things. I don't know. But grief is tough, and I don't think you should always suppress your feelings around grief. Um, but when it gets to be, I guess there gets to be a point where you don't want it to control your life either. So I don't
That's
know if
right.
I'm very helpful, but we could look at maybe doing something specific on that.
Yeah, I think reflections could work. Reflecting on the moment you had with the person, the fun moment and the beautiful moment you had with the person. I think that could really help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And gratitude too.
Gratitude for the time that you did have with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, correct.
So,
Okay.
but that's a good one because that's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need time too, right?
Okay.
And everybody has different time that they need to work through these things. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a heartbreak too is the same thing, right? What do you do? Sometimes you just I'm just thinking about it, sometimes just trying to not think and quiet your mind and move into something like stillness is probably good too, where you're not thinking about it. You're quieting your mind as much as you can by focusing on your breath or focusing on your heart rate. So I think those would be good as well. Just focusing on something, kind of focusing inward that way might help, at least for in the moment. Any other questions or comments?
Okay.
I thought this was really interesting. I didn't realize there were so many.
Types of meditation?
Yeah.
Well, I think that sometimes there's two or three are combined into one, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive. So yeah, but there's a lot of different kinds of meditation. But try as many as you can and see what works for you. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. All right.
Yeah.
Good day. We'll see everyone tomorrow for more on meditation and mindfulness.
All right. Bye.
Bye.